So mistake number one was no follow-up. Mistake number two, no clear call to action. Second biggest mistake I see people make is no clear call to action. What is the focus of your campaign? Why are we paying for leads? Why are we getting people to opt in? So we've got to know what is our ultimate goal. What do we want people to do at the end of this? And it's not just get into our database so we can become customers and become related to them, because that's not going to happen, okay? We've got to have an ultimate goal, and that ultimate goal, we have to know what it is. Is it to book in a sales call? Is it to register for your webinar? Okay, you've got to know what it is, or to buy your product. We've got to know exactly what that process is, okay? Now, in my campaign, I do it a little bit trickier. All you need to worry about is having one clear call to action in your campaigns to start with. But for me, my sales process is on a webinar. But when someone opts in for my ebook and they engage in every single item of content that I've got in that campaign, then they're qualified, and I want them to go in and book in for a call straight away. Ultimately, my goal here is for them to book in for a call. And that's what the webinar does. The webinar gets them to book into a call. So if they've engaged with everything, ATE's appointment to enroll is what we call it there, but I want them to book in for a strategy session, and that's ultimately the goal. But if they don't engage in all of my content, they're not qualified enough. They've got to go and do my webinar training. And so the other call to action, if they don't engage in all of that content, is we drive to get them to come along to the webinar. So where should we have our call to action in the campaign? Now, as you can probably tell, you can probably gather that I'm going to have a few more details here, but where should we have our call to action? Where do you think the key times and places in a campaign, from when someone opts in to when they get their welcome email, to when they get the 3 trust building emails, to when they get the 3 conversion emails at the end, where do you think we should have our call to action? Where should we be telling them about the next step? Just the conversion phase? No, okay? So on our thank you page, people are about 67% more likely to take the next step when we're giving them exactly what they've signed up for. 67% more likely to go and take the next course of action as soon as they've got what they wanted, even if they haven't engaged in it yet. So on your thank you page, if you do not have your call to action there to take the next step, then you're doing yourself a disservice. On the video pages, remember the trust building phase. If you remember to where I showed you Pauline's videos there, or screenshots of the pages, on every single one of them is a button to go and take the next step. Okay, we don't do a hard sell on it. We don't say anything about it in the videos. We just give content, and the button sits there so people can self-select in that trust building phase. In the conversion phase of the email, we are very, very direct. This is the course of action we want you to take. Once we've built the trust, we want them to come along and take the action, whatever it might be. You know, get the quote. It might be book in for a sales call. It might be get along to our webinar, whatever it is, but we drive. We literally tell them to go and take that action. We can be super specific. In the conversion phase, we don't need to beat around the bush. We don't need to be polite. What we need to do is tell them to take the course of action and give them a reason why. Those that engage, we can have one conversation with. Those that don't engage, we can have another conversation with. And potentially we might even introduce some other marketing processes for those that don't engage with our emails as well.